bugged out because it was going at double speed at the start. In spite of claiming it was going at 1 time speed, and now it is at 0.5, but appears to be going normally, which is confusing me. So I'm going to have to ask for a time sync.
I'll try to get you time synced up here. I'm at 131, 132, and we did have first blood going down there. I didn't realize what was going on with your side there, but Sona went to ward, and she went a little bit too deep without the rest of her team. Ezreal spotted her out and started pinning her down, just bursting her out.
Alright, so I'm at 142. Or is that a little bit off?
153, 154, 155.
Okay, no, I think we're about synced up here. And actually we're seeing a Nunu ghosting into the enemy blue here. He is going to be, I don't know what's going. He's taken Consume first. He may be just looking for the steal here. He does have Smite up. Shen can't fight him, and wow, he got the Consume Smite steal. He's going to have to walk out now, dodging the Grasping Roots from Zyra, taking the Ignite, and it looks like there's a first blood, not first blood actually, but a level 1 blue buff on Zyra there, although that is going to hurt Sia Steve quite a bit.
Yeah, that's absolutely brutal. It's going to be brutal for the Gragas, though, as well, so I think Sia Steve is going to be okay with taking that exchange there. And for those of you who don't know, Sia Steve is actually a caster as well, so that's pretty cool to have him on on the Wentworth side of things here. But one thing I wanted to mention, by the way, is that everybody on Georgia Tech is honorable, and the only honorable player on Wentworth is the Taric, so if honorable opponent gives you an advantage.
Actually, at bot right now, we've got Taric going in on Sona with the Amumu follow-up. Sona goes down very, very quickly there to the follow-up from Ezreal. And yeah, let's carry on with whatever point you were having.
Sorry, I actually had to catch up to you on stream there. Sorry guys, this is replay. I just now saw the Sona go down, so I'm speeding up to catch up to you here. But yeah, it looks like Sia Steve is going to camp out here a little bit for Dead Joe. By the way, I am at 324, 25, 26. And Sia Steve is coming in here, gets the advantage toss.
I'm going to reload my replay because something's very strange with the timing on this thing.
Okay, I will continue from here on out. Hopefully Nick is on par as well, 339, 40, 41. But yes, so my cat has come to join me for this cast, and now we've got a 3-0 advantage in favor of Wentworth here, as they are kind of steamrolling ahead in this one. 5.7, now 1,300 gold ahead of the 4.5k of Georgia Tech, which is pretty awesome for them, actually. You know, in the beginning of the game, I also noticed that not only are they all honorable, but we've got all platinum players here for Georgia Tech, and I think there's only one platinum player here on Wentworth. Not to say that that's a pure indicator of how the game is going to go, but typically in lane matchups, that usually it kind of pushes things towards one way, but alas, you can see here, Zigalo here in mid on Zyra is doing pretty good against Chrysanthos, especially considering the fact that she's got that blue buff, though kind of a very small innate blue buff here on Gragas, as he does have his W ability, which is going to recharge some of that mana every once in a while as well. Top lane, it looks like Jewel Bagel versus Stumpy. Stumpy Uppy is going pretty little bit in the favor here of Olaf, 22 to 17 CS, which is not very standard here. And actually, Jewel Bagel going a little bit deep there. I feel like Stumpy Uppy could have jumped on that with his shield, taking some of that creep damage in mid lane here. Though Sia Steve jumping onto Probo and Chrysanthos here. He's got that red buff, whereas Nunu has the double buff. So it looks like, though, everything's going to split off, and it's going to be pretty even trading there. Again, back to Sia Steve. Want to see how far behind he is the Nunu against this Nunu, and he's actually not that far behind. He's pretty well on par in terms of levels, and he does have just that red buff right now. So Nunu, really the only advantage he's got is that he had his own blue buff to take eventually. But with those 2 kills bottom lane, Sia Steve has definitely caught back up, and things are not going too bad for him. In fact, in gold, he is actually in gold. He's 100 behind. I actually expected him to be a bit ahead there, but you could see the difference there when you take that blue buff early. That's a huge not only boon to your level, but huge boon to your gold as well. So Spuddington, I want to know if you are caught up here.
I am hoping I am. I'm at 5:43, 44, 45.
58, 59,
Right.
6 minutes, 6:01, 6:02. Bottom lane, though, we do have Sona. Looks like it's going to pick up a kill here against the Taric here, but she's going to get jumped back on. CSD is pounding away with the Zyra, who came down as well, and CSD is going to pick up that kill. So Amumu walking around in pretty good shape here. He's 1, 0, and 2. He's got 21 CS versus the 24, and Nunu's only got a death under his belt, so things, again, definitely not going so bad for this Amumu, who suffered pretty early on. Stumpy Uppy versus Jewel Bagel in top lane. Ignite has been used on Olaf, and mid lane here, though, Shen coming in at perfect timing, using his ultimate. Taunt comes across the field, throws out that Q, and that's going to pick up that kill away from Ziglo, who is going to get snowballed here and picked off by Probo. So, again, one more sync here, 48, 49, 50.
51.
Alright,
2.
perfect.
1.
So we are on par.
At nearly 7 minutes, we've finally gotten off the ground in terms of casting. But yeah, what I like about the way CSD is playing this right now is that Amumu without blue buff is going to have a heck of a time trying to clear the jump. He's going to be much slower than he wants to be. He's going to run out of mana and be forced to go back very early. So he's sort of counteracted that by just going for a very aggressive all-in style in terms of ganks. And you can see he's actually picked up 2 Doran's rings. And that's not a conventional pickup you see on Amumu, but it actually makes a lot of sense. He has good AP ratios and he has a good need for mana regen. If you're going to be going for this very highly aggressive ganking style, rather than going for more of a farm rush for level 6 with a Philostone build, Double Doran's isn't a bad choice, especially considering he needed the... Before he could get the Philostone, he had to get one. He could get 1 Doran's, which would have been all he could afford at the time. So yeah, that's going to have actually been a very clever play. And actually, we've got Olaf going in onto CSD, who's been forced to flash over the wall. Zigalo, meanwhile, being chased under the tower, and the axe lands on him. He's not going to get away from that. Snowball finishes him off, though. Maybe not who you want to be taking the kill.
Yeah, and actually, Steve came in there, missed the bandage toss, though. Jewel Bagel was there, and Stumpy Uppy and Steve jumping on Chrysanthos here, almost going down for that Gragas, and with the flash forward and the empowered auto attack with Shen's passive, that's going to pick up that kill. Jewel Bagel ghosting away from that one, does not have his ultimate online, and Probo, with that heal from the Q, is potentially going to survive here. Oh my lord, the damage coming out from this Shen is ridiculous, and that bandage toss is going to pick up the kill. So now blue buff, because it was smited properly there, Nunu trying to steal that one yet again. The second blue buff of the game here, away from this Amumu. He does smite that, and he's walking around with that, pretty happy about that, I have to assume, though he does have, like was mentioned by Spuddington, he does have a lot of mana regen coming out of those 2 Doran's blades, and he's now looking for a steal for himself. I don't know if Gragas is going to catch this. I highly doubt that he will. It's being pinged down here for Zyra to come over and get it. Hopefully she gets there in time and doesn't really telegraph that she's going there, which she actually is. Let's see if they get caught out here.
Thing is, though, just because she telegraphed it, Nunu doesn't mean anything, because Nunu was too far away to react just in time. Just walking around as the corpse fades out of existence. Maybe Gragas could have gone for a barrel steal, though. He would have had to have done it blind, and there's always that risk where Mumu could just go over the wall, now has hit level 6, although doesn't have ult up, could have gone for him, and that would have been putting him in a very risky spot as well. That being said, yeah, it's still quite... I'm still surprised he didn't even go in that direction and try with a normal barrel. You know, it wouldn't have cost him much to go for the Q steal, and the thing about Gragas is his burst is higher on his Q than I think any of Zyra's abilities, possibly even including her ultimate. It's 180 damage on her ultimate, 230, well, okay, more than that, but because of ratios, but yeah, has higher damage on his Q than she has on her ultimate, so I'm a little bit surprised he didn't at least try to steal.
Yeah, and I mean, things definitely in terms of those, that jungle control is definitely, you know, from what we've seen, is starting to turn here. Nunu typically, though, especially against an Amumu, has a lot of control with that Q. He's able to just clear out those jungle creeps so fast and just steal things right under the nose of the Amumu, who could just be right around the corner, but he's so fast, it just works out in his favor. One thing that I was watching here is top lane. There's a lot of aggression happening, but Shen with that Doran shield, and he's got that Heart of Gold, a lot of tankiness coming out there. He's going to be able to negate a lot of damage and just sustain himself in that lane. No lifesteal yet. I think, for the Shen and no lifesteal for the Olaf. So the continued sustain and the burst sustain really is not going to be happening up at that top lane. But speaking of which, you got Nunu coming in here to an unwarded lane, and the Shen could get caught out here. He's definitely going to get snowballed. The ultimate goes off, gets the perfect amount on that channel, and Probo is going to do the stutter stepping here. He's got the red buff, he's got that snowball activated, but the taunt is going to allow Shen to get away here. So great job there with that gank, but unfortunately Jewel Bagel went down a little bit too low. I think he could have contributed a little bit more damage to that as well, but he backed off, I think, too soon with the Ignite, just kind of as that scare factor. But
yeah,
great job anyways on both parts.
Yeah, that's always the scary thing. You know, Shen has quite a bit of burst and it comes out very quickly, but once it's gone, he doesn't really have that much else, and he used that in order to get Olaf low enough to make him run away. So Olaf didn't really think that the whole way through, panicked a little bit, maybe assumed Nunu could deliver a little more damage than was possible for Nunu to do, and yeah, he backed out when maybe he could have done a little bit more. That being said, I can understand why. It was a dangerous situation. Better to get out without dying on that kind of front than waste your jungler's time and get yourself killed.
Yeah, absolutely. But, I mean, everything's kind of stabilizing up there where you've got 71 CS on Olaf versus 54 on Shen, and I want to attribute that to the fact that Shen ulted away from the lane, but he does have now 2 kills and 2 assists under his belt, which I'm going to say is putting him in the favor up at that top lane. Down bottom lane, though, it looks like the Rampage coming up from Ezreal, and 4 characters now bottom. Dead Joe looks like he's going to go down here. See Steve getting off that Enrage. Nice ultimate from Gragas, though. I don't think it's nice enough. Flashing forward there. The ultimate comes across from Ezreal. That's going to be a lot of damage in the double kill. I have to assume this is going to be a follow-up on Dragon, and all 5 characters are down here. Top lane's getting pushed down pretty hard, which is the smart reaction play from the Olaf, but this is a lot of gold going in the favor here of Wentworth, as they are now going ahead about 4,000 gold at this point. Turret should go down, help to equalize that a little bit, but man, what a great great little exchange there for Wentworth, going 11-3 now.
Yeah, that was nicely played. I was a little distracted, however, due again to flight camera LoL replay issues. I am, I think, still synchronized with you at least. Yeah, there was aggressive dragon take, I think, was probably the nicest part about that little engagement for them. And I think, yeah, right now, looking at the teams actually, and it's looking like this game is snowballing somewhat out of control in the favor of the blue team. With CSD picking up 4 kills, wow. That's equally fed Ezreal at bottom, and a fairly strong Shen too. The only one who's maybe come out a little bit behind is Zyra, but again, she's ahead of her lane partner, and gold is always kind of relative. So right now, yeah, they have a very strong lineup, and they also have a very high gold advantage for the stage of the game. I mean, they have, what, a good 20% more? That's going to translate to quite a lot of difference in terms of killing power. And Nunu has committed 400 gold onto an Oracle, which is risky. If that goes down now, he's not been having the best game already, he's going to be falling behind quite a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. We can see here now, Gragas just going for his blue buff, pretty standard stuff. Getting some help from the Nunu, though. Sia Steve coming in here, might steal this one. No, he doesn't. The blue buff is going to go down. And again, lots of aggression happening towards that blue buff side of the purple jungle. It looks like actually Amumu coming in here, getting really aggressive. There's an Oracles on Probo on Nunu right now, and that's definitely something that Wentworth wants to take out, as that's going to be open up a lot of opportunity for those ganks to come in. Even though map control, I want to say, is in favor of Wentworth a significant amount. They've got the mid lane and bottom turrets down, so they're able to just kind of flood in here, and they're going to take out another turret actually. If this goes down, Amumu's going to have a lot of opportunity to get in there with his ultimate, which is currently online. So this turret going down here, I don't think this is the right time to engage. Oh my goodness, it was the right time to engage, as that turret just barely did not go down. Probo again getting picked on there by the Zyra, and I really think that Amumu could have engaged there and gotten the kills, the really quick kills off on the Sona and the Nunu, but fortunately for them, they were able to get away.
Yeah, it was...
I just really quickly want to pause for 4 seconds because apparently we're ahead a little bit. So I'm going to let you take over in a second, but I'm going to do a 3, 2, 1 countdown for a pause, and then I'm going to count to 4 and then go again. Does that sound cool?
That sounds fine.
Okay, so 3, 2, 1, pause, and 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so we should be on par now. We should be good.
16:02, 03, 04.
Yep.
Right. Roughly in the right place. So yeah, anyway, that was a very nice engagement by Gragas there, actually. Very clutch, we say, I think. It was, if that had gone wrong, if that tower had gone down, taken one more shot before he got in there, he would have been very much in deep water, because CST would have been very free to just jump in, ult up, and deal out quite a lot of damage, because you're actually, Mumu is going for an Abyssal Scepter at the moment. He's actually nearly got it as well. 50 gold will have his Abyssal Scepter, and that is probably a very scary Amumu. He's going to be doing a lot of damage, like comparable to get 2 Gragas actually. Maybe not quite as high as that, but he's going to be doing a lot of damage very fast, and in an initiation situation like that in mid, where they had only lost Taric, but they had their super fed Ezra on this, and their fairly strong Zyra sitting at the back quite safely. If that Amumu ult had gone down, and that tower had gone down, that would have been painful. Very, very painful, very, very quickly, but as it happened, it worked out in their favour. Looks like this tower's still going to be going down though. Yeah, he's just going to face tank that, don't care. And Shen actually ulting down just to escape from Nunu and Olaf. That's a creative usage of the ultimate that he had going there.
Yeah, luckily neither Olaf nor Nunu have a stun in their kit, so they weren't able to stop him from going back. But he does get away, survives with about 1/3 of his HP, and maybe potentially earned a little bit of threat towards mid lane. I don't know if anything really changed. They ended up, Wentworth picked up that turret already, so they weren't really to push that advantage any further forward. But again, speaking of advantages, 4,000 gold now for Wentworth in their favor. Shen is still farming up that top lane, and Olaf is going to continue to stay there. He knows that he can match him up right now. Actually, Olaf opted to go back, but he can match him as the ultimate is not online. Speaking of also, the ult from Gragas comes up, picks off or starts the process of picking up the Zyra. Slow going down on Steve, and the case as Nunu was ulting in that brush helps to pick up the kill on the Amumu, but this looks like a pretty nice turnaround here for Georgia Tech as they push forward, picking up Taric and Amumu there. Now it's just RG Tater Tot on Ezreal here with that red buff to help defend this bottom lane turret, but against these 5 characters, I don't know if he's going to be able to do it. Dragon, I think, might be up relatively soon. I didn't actually notice when that went down, but definitely full map control for Georgia Tech, and if it does come up anytime in the next couple of seconds here, or I want to see even a minute, they're probably going to be able to pick that one up for themselves. But continuing the aggression bottom lane here as Shen just hunkering down in the top lane.
Yeah, that was actually the risk. Shen having to blow his ultimate at top in order to get away from the Olaf and Nunu meant that for a brief time there was Olaf could use his own teleport, and Shen wouldn't actually be able to react, and he did that. He teleported down to that ward you can see in the brush in bot lane. Teleported in right next to basically the entire enemy team, ran in, and it was a 5-on-4 situation. Gragas initiated excellently, bringing Zyra under the tower, bursting her down before she could really do anything. And yeah, and then they just sort of rolled along very, very nicely indeed, and with that rather clever, I suppose, Nunu ultimate actually from the tri-brush. I don't think I've ever seen it. I didn't realize it would reach into the lane in order to slow their escape. But it does, and that actually really won them quite a big advantage. And meanwhile, yeah, Olaf and Jen are continuing their sort of battle of titans. And meanwhile, blue being contested. Wow, Tabletop that with the ultimate, and Mumu CSD going in with the ultimate. Crescendo goes down as well, though. Tabletop has been locked out of the fight for a while. Dejo backing out. Taric pops the ultimate, and Probo does not want to go down. Chrysanthos actually getting taken out by the Zyra burst. And meanwhile, at top, actually, Olaf diving Shen, but not quite able to get away with it. Forced to blow the Ignite, and Sona, meanwhile, taken out by... I have absolutely no idea. I assume it was the Zyra passive. No, Zyra passive. By Zyra,
Ignite.
Oh, it was Ignite. Okay, sorry.
That's actually a pretty good fight there for Wentworth, as I think the Zyra ultimate really was kind of the turning point there. It looked like it was going to go pretty poorly with the 3v4, with the Mumu going down pretty quickly, but the fight turned around very, very nicely. Gragas went down with the Zyra ultimate and the Ezreal burst combination, and then everybody just kind of was forced to run away and spread out as they were caught in that nice tight corridor. So great job there by Zyra in that fight. Definitely MVP there, walking away with pretty sizable advantage yet again. Going back to these the score screen here, now 5K, so just slowly increasing their lead despite that one really terrible exchange for them. They picked up Dragon, got them right back into the fray here, and just taking a look at these items now, you've got Shen with that Ionic Spark, which we will be saying goodbye to very soon in Season 3. Abyssal Scepter is going to help out a lot in those team fights like you were mentioning before, and with the huge ratios on Amumu. If you take a look at him, he's got 100 ability power and he's got plus 80, so he's got on his ultimate, so he's got a 0.8 on that, and he's got a 0.7 on his Q, so really doing a ton of damage there. And that the Abyssal Scepter helps out immensely when you're talking about the AoE spells coming up from Zyra as well.
Yeah, and I will say actually, if you take a little bit of a look at Zyra's ability, right, a build right there, she's got a Rylai's and double Doran's, and that's actually pretty tanky. You wouldn't normally expect to see that on a kind of bursty caster like Zyra. But I think what that is a response to Gragas. Gragas is constantly trying to initiate these fights by getting Zyra out of position, by blowing his ultimate, shoving her into the middle of his team where they promptly burst her down. If she is rather a tanky wall, that's going to give her the capability to withstand that a little harder. And actually Ziggler going in with the grasping roots onto Olaf, forced to blow the ultimate. He's still taking quite a lot of damage, throws the axe back, which is going to slow them down. That's blown his ultimate though, and he's now pretty low on health too, which looks like they might be pressuring Baron actually, yeah.
And they are going to spot that out. There is a ward now in there, and Baron's actually doing a lot of damage to this Taric. Whether that's going to play a part or not, I don't know in the coming team fight here. It looks like Georgia Tech is pretty spread out right now. Olaf down below half health, and nobody on Wentworth right now is actually all that low. And fortunately, and this is a very smart play here, fortunately for Wentworth, they've got a Shen on their team, so Shen is able to push this bottom lane. That Ionic Spark that I mentioned before, really great pushing tool for Shen, able to clear creep waves extremely quickly, but he does push up there. He's just going to stay around in this lane. No, the ultimate comes down, and he's going to help out with this Baron fight here. That's definitely
Olaf
teleport going in, though. Yeah, Olaf's going to be in the middle of this fight here. A Mumu Bandage Toss is not going to help out there, and Olaf is going to pick up the kill with the help of the Gragas Barrel. And this looks like it's going to be a 2-for-1, or a 1-for-1 chain exchange with Baron buff going down there as well.
Yeah, so that's definitely gone in the favour of the Baron. So, in the favour, that sounds more like I'm saying Baron won the fight, but Baron definitely came out behind in terms of dying. But yeah, so that definitely put them in a pressure situation, and that right there was the strength of Shen. That was that split pushing potential where Graves had to go bot. There was no one else really that could deal with him. Olaf needed to be going back to the spawn pad, needed to be going in to teleport in. Graves had to go back and stop the split push, otherwise they would have simply backed away from Baron and taken that bottom inhibitor tower. It puts you into a lose-lose situation, and that is a horrible thing to have to deal with. And now, I think, honestly, their play is just going to be to try and turtle this out. They need to hold off these creep waves, they need to hold off this Baron team. I will say, in their defense, they do still have the potential to start an initiation in their favor, and they have good AoE if the enemy is all pressuring in one place. But so do their opponents. They also have great AoE, and they will soon also have that Shen split push coming back up again.
Yeah,
actually...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say Olaf was getting into a little engagement there.
Yeah, but kind of backing off here. You got Ezreal. I was mentioning the same thing there. Ezreal and Amumu could have double teamed that as the tower did go down, but I think Olaf's a really huge threat at this point. He's got Shirelia's and the Phage kind of working together there, getting the slow and the extra speed in, and he's extremely tanky at this point. He's got 3,200 HP, which is also going to play into his Vicious Strikes there, which adds more damage when he activates it based on his HP. So it's adding an extra 33 almost damage on top of what he's already got. So the 21 there plus 33, that's just a lot of damage to be adding to your basic attacks on top of the axe, which scales off of physical damage. Just tons and tons of damage coming out of him. Although I think I've said damage far too many times. Dragon's going to go down here. Amumu's going to pick that one up using his smite, just making sure he's still got the capability to smite at the last second when you definitely need to as a jungler. And if I had any recommendation to Wentworth at this point, I would say use that Baron buff and push top lane. If you want, stick Shen bottom lane, but even if you're fully grouped up with him still in the fray, that top tower is just sitting gold right now. It's farther out, and it's a lot less entrenched than those inhibitor turrets, but they need to use the Baron for something, and why not pick up a little extra gold along the way?
Yeah, they only have about a third of the Baron duration left. And it looks like Olaf is actually coming in behind with the axe straight onto the level. Also goes down to Gragas, and so does the Amumu ult. CSD is actually going to burst down quite quickly. AoE ultimate from Ezreal hitting almost everybody, and so does the Absolute Zero. They've taken a lot of damage here. Jewel Bagel goes down very quickly, and so does Sona. It looks like they're having a lot of problems now, trying to hold on and just getting dived. There's too much armor around, with Taric being fabulous nearby. He's just giving them the armor with the Aegis as well, and Shen also has Doran's shield and naturally very high base armor. So yeah, they had a very tanky dive team going on here, and they managed to make something from that Baron buff there. They definitely converted that well.
Yeah, and this actually looked like it could be the end of the game here. We're closing in on these inhibitor turrets, or sorry, the Nexus turrets for Santos on Gragas here. He's going to throw out that barrel. Really great tool for taking out creep waves extremely quickly, but all those creeps that just came out of the Nexus got picked off there. Only one wave making it up to top lane, which is fortunately the wave that's pushing out the hardest for them. So they're at least going to have one wave that's being pushed out, whereas the other two waves are going to be empowered. And they're going to continue pushing forward here. Bottom lane's got a pretty big build-up happening, and mid lane not only has the super minions coming up the wave now, but they've got 5 characters in there. 2 of them, however, are looking to go back. I want to take a look at these gold counts. They've got every character on this team has over 1,000 gold, and 3 of them have over 2,000 gold to spend at this point. Shen having the best of it with 2,600. So we're going to see what he's going to convert that into here. He has still not spent anything. He's on that inhibitor. There we go. He's got a Randuin's now. And that's going to be really, really troublesome for the Graves, and really just the Graves at this point, because that's the only AD, or sorry, the Olaf as well is going to really suffer from that.
Well, the other aspect of that is it gives him a much stronger diving potential. Right now he's got 189 armor, and I'm not even sure if he's within the Aegis range and the Taric range yet. 231 armor when he's within both of those buffs range. And that means basically towers are going to bounce off him like there's nothing. He can dive pretty comfortably, even honestly in a 5-on-5 situation. And that is very, very powerful for him. He's going to be able to split push, he's going to be able to ult in, then he's also going to be able to follow up on that engagement by following under towers. He's going to be able to go for that Nexus tower, for instance. There's only one tower there, and they don't do as much damage as the inhibitor towers before them. It's basically, right now, Shen is going to be an incredibly big thorn in their side. It's so hard to deal with, and right now there's no one that can duel him either, so he's going to draw 2 people probably to bot. Maybe Olaf can deal with him, maybe not, I'm not sure. Certainly someone is going to get drawn to bot, and then they will engage mid or top. And right now I think the best play from their opposition is just to somehow try and bait out that Shen and then disengage. That is honestly their best odds. And right now Shen is running right through the enemy base. He's sticking to Sona there. Olaf trying desperately to kill him, and he's been forced to blow his flash. I'm not really sure what he's doing there. I was caught a little off guard by the fact that Olaf had a mallet.
Yeah, and actually the Randuin's there that we mentioned before really helped him out there. He took so much damage, or rather, took so little damage from so many hits from this Olaf here. And Sona, of course, really doing too much damage, but Olaf was slowed the whole time, and just all that extra armor was really helping him out there. But here we go with the engage. CSD, giant ultimates, followed up by the Ezreal and Zyra ultimates, and a return ult here from Nunu is going to help pick up Zyra in the midst of all of this. Jewel Bagel, though, on Olaf is probably going to get picked up here. Yes, he does. His ultimate ran out, and this is going to be Probo going down here as well, and that's a full-blown ace. That's going to be the end of the game here. That's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, that once you've gone the Mumu who's that strong and you actually have somebody else who can tank for him, like Shen there, follow that up with all the AoE on their team composition and the ability to force a team fight almost whenever they wanted, they had such a strong team composition. Once they were ahead, there was almost no way for an opponent to come back against that.
All right, so great job there from Wentworth. They're going to go up 1-0 in this series right now. It's a best of 3, so we've got more games coming. Currently, we're going to take a commercial break. One more time rather. It's definitely not going to be the last of the night. I wanted to make sure that you guys are checking out See Starly. Come to our website. This is the Azubu Collegiate Champion, so go check out azubu.com, see what they have to offer you guys, because they got definitely some awesome services over there. And follow them on Facebook. That definitely helps us out for them to know that you guys are coming from the CSL side of things, and just allows us to have better benefits in the future for college esports and stuff like that. So go follow them on Facebook, which is facebook.com/Azubu Media. Right now, we are going to take a commercial break, and we're going to be ready to line up game 2.